Hi everyone. I don't know what's wrong with my connection. So sorry. Trust in God.
She's in class.
Hi.
Hello Grace, good afternoon. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I need to share the link again with the guest because I don't know why she's saying it's not showing on her end. So give me a minute. I might just go
Okay.
on. Yeah, so I've sent it to her. Good afternoon once again. Happy weekend to you, Grace. Happy weekend, that girl V. Um, this is Girlversation, Instagram Live by Wondiva Global Community. Good to have you here. My name is Sophia once again, Sophia Rinshewe, and I'm the Girlversation team lead. Yeah, so our guest is here, and we'll do a bit of introduction. Sorry, give me a minute. Let me accept her. Okay. So how's your week been? How's work and your family? How's everything?
I wish it's been great. It's been a long week, so but I'm very grateful. It's turned out well. How's yours?
Okay. Very well. Good afternoon. Our guest is here, Madam Helen. Thank
Welcome,
you for
Madam
joining
Ellie.
us. Thank
Good
you.
afternoon,
I
everyone.
Good
hope
afternoon.
your day has been great.
It's been a beautiful one. We thank God.
Okay. All right. So let's just head over to our introduction. Yeah, we know that this is Girlversation, Instagram Live. I think I've done a bit of introduction for everyone here. Moving forward, well, so Helen is here. I want to read a brief about her before we move ahead. So Helen Chukwueke is here. She's from Enugu State. Though she's married to an Abia man. I don't know why she said that, but that's okay. So she runs a forum called Destiny Academy, and their vision is bridging the gap between academics and purpose. So, linking your schoolwork with purpose, which is something very great. They also run a self discovery campaign in churches and youth organizations. She also runs an online ministry, for single ladies with the vision of purpose before marriage, understanding who you are before you get married. And she owns a pastry factory. Wow, that's an awesome business. So, with the name Uka Bakes Confectionaries, they are based on bulk supply of different snacks on a daily basis. And most of all, Helen has been married for over 18 years with three biological children and one adopted between the ages of 11 to 21. So obviously Helen has raised teenagers, which is like the most difficult part of raising children. And we're going to talk about that today. Yeah, she lives with her husband and her family here in Lagos, and they pastor a church together. Drum rolls for Helen Chukwueze. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome,
Thank you
welcome,
so,
Miss
so much.
Ellen.
We are so glad to have you join us. And we want to thank you for honoring the invitation, even though it was such a short time. You know how it is to, to get you. And she actually, yeah, responded. So we're waiting for Mora, though we will head quickly into the show so we don't have to delay, you know, the guest peradventure she has things to do. So we want to thank God for the opportunity to be here, and we pray that as we go into this conversation, all of us here would be blessed, would learn something. For those of us that expect, whether you're expectant, whether you're already a mother, whether you have a baby, or you are planning to have a child soon, the Lord will open your eyes and help you, and help you and hold your hand all through the journey of motherhood. Thank you once again. So before we head to um, the guest speaker, we just want to understand what motherhood is, because many people feel motherhood is just getting pregnant and having a baby. Motherhood is, having lots of children around you. A lot of people feel that is what motherhood is about, but there's more to motherhood. So let me ask Grace, what is motherhood to you, as as a woman, as a lady? You obviously have a mother. We all have mothers, whether they are alive or they are not. We
Yeah.
have someone who has raised us or someone who is raising us, as people that we are in the society. We are no more girls or teenagers. We are now responsible women. Whether you've mothered a child or not, you can be seen as mother. So what is motherhood to you?
All right. So, motherhood is all about raising children. It's not just all about birthing children, but it's all about raising them, and it comes with a whole lot of sacrifices to raise a child. So that's just general term for what motherhood is.
Yeah, so motherhood basically is raising children. So it's not just the conception. Like, many people do not know that motherhood begins at the thought of saying, I want to be a mom. That is when the thoughts, the feeling, everything about motherhood comes into play, because you have envisioned it before you even act out trying to get pregnant for a child. That is where motherhood starts. So, asking our guests now, what is one thing that motherhood has taught you? You've been a mother for at least 18 years. So it's a lot, from seeing them as babies to, getting them to graduate from primary school, and then moving them forward to secondary school. And then maybe there's even one that is even in university already. It is a phase that, there are phases, threefold phases or fourfold, because we're looking at a baby moving forward to a toddler, and then heading to become a bigger child, then to a preteen, and then a teenager, and now almost an adult, because you have a 21-year-old that is now an adult. So how has this been, for you, as with your obviously vast years of experience as a mom?
Well, for me, the challenging or what is expected, I think, is responsibility. The place of responsibility beyond giving birth. You have the responsibility to nurture the children, to raise the children, just like the person that spoke before said. It is not a transferable obligation.
Mm-hmm.
You really want to do it well. It's not what you can leave somebody to do. It's not what you leave the teachers to do for you. You should, as a mother, there is a vision. There is something you have at the back of your mind. But like for me, before I got married, I was like, none of my children leaves. A lot of my children will go to school, maybe higher institution before 18. That's my personal vision. Why do I have such vision? I want to be sure I can beat my heart that this child I am releasing, I have been able to impart. I am sure that all I have put in this child, it will be difficult for anyone to pull out. So if a child has stayed with you for 18 years, that child has should be if you have done your job as a mother, then you should be able to beat your heart to your chest and say, yes, I am sure that this child I am releasing won't bring shame back. And for you to get to that point, it is the point of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
It is not just a it's not something I just wish. And I wish some people say the Bible say that God the law our children shall be taught of the law. Fine. But that does not take our place of responsibility.
Exactly.
So motherhood is a responsibility, a big one.
Exactly. Exactly. So a lot of people do not know that it's not a transferable role,
It's not.
right? So it's
It is
like I know motherhood could get tiring because you sometimes you just get frustrated and it's like, God, when will all this stress end? But what I pick from what you said, you're welcome, Mora. What I pick from what you said is that it's not transferable. It's not something you can wake up today and say, oh, can you not help me? I feel I need to pull out. You can't pull out of motherhood, right? You cannot pull out of motherhood. You cannot pull out of motherhood. It's not a transfer, like she said, it's not a transferable task that I say, see, today I need to give up. I need to say, maybe my mom should take it up from here. Funny enough, your mom didn't even give you to anyone. So why would we now think that we need to, transfer our own, responsibilities as moms? So it's very, very important for us to ensure that we know that this role of when I call myself a mom, whether I'm raising children biologically or um, I'm raising children, at the adopted ones, or I'm even training people. You should understand that it's a lifelong commitment. It's not something you wake up today and just give up. So, Maura, thank you for joining. So, we're asking some questions like we asked about what motherhood means. So, I want to give you the opportunity to let us know, what do you think motherhood means to you as a person?
Okay, so I want to be sure that there's no noise because they're having a party beside my house. I don't know
Okay,
if
we
it's
can
fair.
hear you
We
actually.
can hear you.
So, you can make it brief if you feel like, yeah.
Okay. So for me, I feel like motherhood is something that is continuous and it's something that involves so much intentionality. And
Exactly.
I feel like motherhood is something that is very sensitive and something that requires a lot of attention in the sense that the journey of motherhood is one that you cannot be absent-minded in, especially to all areas of the child, the child's life. So to me, that's what motherhood feels like.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mora. So, for Helen, is there any, we just need to listen to this because I know that there are sometimes you have experienced some funny moments or maybe something personal about motherhood that you can share with us. Um, Something that you never really expected, and it taught you a lesson that, oh my goodness, I never saw this coming. but God helped you. Obviously, He helped you pull through out of that situation when it felt like all hope was lost. Funny, personal, but something that was really intriguing about your experience as a mother.
Okay, so many, but I really want to talk about this. When I came into a realization that beyond giving birth, beyond having vision, sometimes when they say write your vision, make it plain and whatever, we are busy writing, not knowing that we are writing, whatever we have written equals to work.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Beyond writing and beyond giving birth, I came to a realization that I have my vision that these children should be like this, they shouldn't turn out this way, they should turn out this way. Then that calls for work,
Hmm.
big work. You cannot give what you don't have.
Mm.
So, as a mother, you have a vision. You want your children to be outstanding. You want your children to be this. You want your children to be that. It is not all wishes. You will have to be that first, or help them see you there before you can transfer it.
Exactly.
So that's one of the major things that came to me as a shock. That's beyond me writing, I want this, I want that. These children, I will have to role model whatever I will want them to become. I will have to role model it. So that means motherhood starts with me
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
getting what I want. So it took me back to school, took me back to groups, took me back to seminars of different
Mm.
forms for me to be able to achieve that goal that I have for those children, because it doesn't fall on their laps.
So,
There is a lot that is involved for those dreams to come to pass.
mm.
Initially, my husband wasn't seeing it from my angle. They were like, I beg, the way our parents trained us and we turned out well, they are going to turn out well. But, oh my, it is never that way.
Exactly.
1980 is different from now.
Hmm.
We didn't have the how do I say, is it competition or the distracting things that these children have now? We didn't have it then.
Exactly.
I didn't have, I didn't have a reason to say, mommy, you must give me your phone. I should do this. I want to watch it. I want to watch that. I didn't have that. So now telling myself that my parents trained me well and I turned out well, I should also leave my children that way. I will be deceiving myself. So it was a major shock for me
Mm-hmm.
that puts me on my toes. And to the glory of God today, I've not regretted it. Because the truth is that you are learning to teach somebody, but the impact is on you first before you are able to teach. So as I
Exactly.
learn every day, as I take myself to places that I know that my children need, I begin to express it first before passing it on to them. So you become a better person when you have that drive, when you have that goal, that no, this is it. You become a better, you are taught first before you're able to
Mm.
teach. So wasn't like it was beyond giving birth. It was beyond having children all around you.
Hmm.
Once you have a goal or things you want to achieve, then it's a lot of work. And to the glory of God, God has said,
Yeah. Thank you so much, Helen. So the truth is, whether we like it or not, like there are statements my mom used to make. She say, today another day has ended," because she helps us with our own children. And sometimes, for like me, it can get so really overwhelming because now we are moving into the realities of motherhood. I know how difficult it is for me in the morning to wake up either by 4:30 or by 4 a.m., depends on the specific between that time. And you have to struggle to arrange everything for school and then make sure you cook their school food. And then I have to now go to work. It gets so overwhelming that in short, I now said, come, I'm no more going to work on Mondays. I'll work from home because I feel so exhausted. Sometimes, like yesterday, I broke down at some point and started crying. Like real tears. I was crying because I was frustrated. These are the things that overwhelmed me. And I didn't know how to express how angry I was. And I didn't know when I just burst into tears because I was like, why would you do this? And I'm like, you people are just stressing me out and I'm having a headache. And everything was just unbelievable. And I just started crying, right? So the thing is, what many of us do not understand is that there are highs and there are lows in motherhood. We go through that season. So the period of pregnancy alone, you've started motherhood. It has already begun. So like I said, whether they are our children, whether they are those we are even nurturing, motherhood comes with different expectations, and there are the times you are going to rejoice, like after all the sleepless nights, and that child becomes the best in class. Like I remember when I know my son is still very small, but when I heard best behaved, I was surprised. You best behaved, because I I wasn't matching it with how he troubles us in the house. But you see, that makes you know that okay, maybe in the school they are more calm than when they are in the house. So when you experience that, you now understand that sometimes all what you are thinking might not really be what you are seeing or what you see. Meaning we are matching our expectations with God, with what God is saying. Like Helen said, she said, you are not just going to be quoting my children are taught of the Lord, because it's not about quoting it and praying it, right? We have to put in the work. We have to ensure they are learning the right thing, because our parents ensure they put in the work to raising us. It's not something that um anybody can. It's not rocket science, it's not magic, it's not abracadabra. There is work. It's a human being, just like you as a person. You have to work to become someone. You have to work on yourself. It's not about your career, personal development, your attitude, the way you behave around people. These are things that takes work. Either nighttime or daytime, you are impacting yourself, to have an outlook, a behavior that people love. There are people that chase away people from them, and it starts from either how they were raised, or the people they associated with at some point in their lives. And you see, all of these are the honesty and honest conversations we have about motherhood. Even those who raise their children well will not end up like that, will not have reasons why that child didn't turn out well. But like I said, that's not going to be our portion. So I've mentioned a moment when I found it overwhelming for me. I don't know if you have an overwhelming experience, for yourself before maybe Grace or Mora tells us some point when they realized their moms were overwhelmed, and they're just helpless. I've seen my mom break down too, and it's not easy. A lot of mothers are going through that season that nobody might seem to even understand what they are feeling, and they don't know how to even express it, because we all look at the mother. Mom is strong, mom is strong. But do you know that there's a time she can break down? So there's a time she can go down and lie down and just cry and say, Jesus, help me. Jesus, help me. Take charge. I'm sad. I'm depressed. My spirit is down. Psalm 43. People say, why am I so depressed? Is my spirit downcast? There's a time for that. So I don't know, is there anyone here who has experienced that, either for yourself or for your mom? And how did you overcome it? Because some people don't never come out of theirs. They never, and sometimes they end up even dying because they never came out of being overwhelmed, being depressed because of the stress that motherhood brings to them.
Okay, I had an experience, I think last week or even this week. It can be very overwhelming when you are telling a child, go this way, and you can see before you the child is going the
Hmm.
other way around. Was like, I just busted out. I was like, who is raising this kind of children? And my husband had to come in and was like, just calm down, they will outgrow it. Especially when you are telling children, okay, for me, it was chores. Okay, we had divided the chores, you do this, you do that. But, well, because of their age, I mean the younger ones, the true grown ones are already in the university. So I'm just in the house with the younger ones. But I think it was will I say it's an over expectation. When the two older ones were still at home, I don't have to say, okay, it is time to sweep, it is time to do this, it is time to do that. And they were doing it on their own without carrying the younger
Yeah.
ones, um,
Along.
without carrying along. So when they now left, the space was there, and I wasn't finding it funny at all. Every day I yell, every day I talk. I'll have to sit them down. Oh yeah, why did you do this? Oh yeah, why not do this? So I saw that lapses. So sometimes we get overwhelmed when we don't manage things well.
Exactly.
If I'd managed the house being orderly the way I want it, knowing that these ones will soon go, but it didn't even occur to me.
Exactly.
Everything was just going, and then they had to get admission and they had to leave the house, and I was now left with boys. The two girls are in school, and you can know how boys can be very wonderful. So it was very, very overwhelming. But even today, I still had that. Okay, there's no water in the freezer, this and that. But where you're on your own, they'll do it at their own time. Ah, so it's overwhelming for me. This season is overwhelming. I'm very grateful that one of my girls will be home tomorrow. I can't wait for her to be back. Ah, I'm telling you the truth, I cannot wait for her to be, so that at least I can rest a bit. I can rest a bit. I don't have to tell somebody to sweep the house. Even though I try as much as possible, I've been I try as much as possible not to play strong woman. I get people to help me out in the house chores, sweep the house, but then I also tell myself sometimes you can't have outsiders do all the thing. The children will not learn.
Exactly.
So when I yes, the children will not learn, even though I have people that come around, wash clothes and do, but at the same time, the little ones I want them to do, I want them to do it well. So that's, for me, majorly, that's a very overwhelming
Hmm.
period for me right now.
Hmm.
My boys are not trying to get, they are not seeing it from my page. And I think it's my fault. When the girls were around, I left the girls to do everything without carrying the boys along. Now the vacuum is there, and it can be very overwhelming, but then we are coping.
We thank God for that experience. I don't know, Grace or Mora, do you have anything to to say concerning probably when you saw your mom or even yourself, maybe people you are raising, and then it just became like, what is really going on? At that point in time, it happens, and sometimes there's not, like she said, she gets helpless. It happens. Like me, I had to confess. It's just yesterday, and I cried. And I'm like, God, please have mercy on me. I'm tired. I've not even started though. We're still talking of 3 years, 7 years. What now happens, when they are now older? So um there are seasons that you experience. Can you maybe you should switch off your camera or your movie? Okay, you're changing your position. Okay, that's fine. So there are seasons that these things happen. Like a moment I found overwhelming as the fact that I experienced depression twice during my pregnancy. The first one was the worst of all. I was even suicidal. Like I was ready to just end it all after I had my daughter, and it was terrible. Thank God that the Holy Spirit is good. He was able to reveal to a relation that said she had it clear that this girl is going through something. So they called me and I confessed that I'm stressed. I don't know who to help me. Then I started coming out of the house. I started taking my baby. It was very far. I was living really far from my family members. I had to start going there, spending some nights, and I came out. It took me more than 6 months to get myself again, almost a year before I came out of that. And this is me who was boasting during antenatal. I can never be depressed because I've never been depressed all my life. Like even as a young girl, as a teenager, as an adult in university, nothing really made me depressed. Maybe if it's heartbreak or quarrel in relationship, normal. But I never confessed depression. But I saw it live and direct, and it was something I never experienced in my life. I never knew that thoughts of being suicidal as a child of God can happen. So this to tell us that people that are even tongue speaking pastors we've heard of pastors committing suicide because they didn't open up, right? And the enemy manipulates people that don't speak up. But when you don't speak up, the enemy knows how to manipulate you. The enemy knows how to manipulate you and just take advantage of your please, can you take advantage of your vulnerability? And the second depression now happened after I had the second the twins. And it was I believed I was not going to be depressed. All of a sudden it happened again. And this time I just said, no way. It was coming again. It was coming. And I noticed it. I said, no, this time I'm going to fight it. And before I knew it, even before they turned a month, I started coming out of the house because I knew that being enclosed, I'm someone that goes to work and I'm not used to sitting down in a spot. All of those things, the enemy, can you go inside? So all of these things, the enemy can just take advantage of you. And so these are the things that it might even be beyond your expectation. It might be beyond your expectation and beyond even your comprehension, because you are not even sure that this can happen to you, and all of a sudden it happens. What do we do in this situation? That's where we're now moving on to how we can trust God, because sometimes we don't even pray. We are depressed, we don't speak up, we don't tell anybody that we need help. Like she mentioned, telling someone that we need help. Janaya, go inside, I'm coming. Telling someone that we need help, during that season of being overwhelmed, when your expectations are high, but reality is looking at you down at the face like, no way, you can't help yourself. And these are things that are happening to a lot of mothers, whether you've had children for over 20 years, whether you're just even starting, especially those who are starting. A lot of people who are just starting, you just give birth and then you are battling so many things. Some people are battling they're hypertensive, they have high blood pressure. Some of them experience different things happening to their bodies. And all of these things can bring depression. All of these things can bring, you losing faith in God, because this is a situation where you cannot help yourself. So what do we now do? Let me open the floor for Grace. I don't know what do you think can be done, because sometimes maybe it's ignorance, or we get into motherhood without preparing, and then all of a sudden, people begin to experience things like this. They don't speak up. And before you know it, you've heard that someone you saw and someone that you felt is happy, just gave birth, has passed on.
Mm.
So what are the things? Why are these things happening? Because we are talking about trusting God on this journey. You can't do it by yourself. It's not something that is possible to handle yourself. It's not something that is possible for you to do by your power or by your mind. So before we move forward about trusting God in uncertainty, let's just hear one or two things from you on the Mora.
All right, since we are talking about trusting God in situation like this, I feel even before the journey commences, you should put it in God's hands. You should trust God for it.
Exactly.
Then when it happens like that, you should I feel women should find those that have been in that position, talk to them about it, because I could remember when my mom was having issue with one of us then, and she found out that she could not control it. She had to call somebody to talk to, because I know raising kids can be different from raising teenagers.
Yeah.
Raising teenagers can be different from raising grown people like
Uh-huh.
like us. So at times it might, when it comes to teenagers and grown-ups, it might be listening from their perspective about things, because
Exactly.
time time evolves. Yes, time evolves. So just to give, because okay, just to give yourself a little bit of stress, instead of stressing on, listen to them, get help from outsiders, people that you trust, people you know they can also listen to, because we all have one way or the other people that we know that we also listen to apart from our parents.
Exactly.
So you can talk to people about it. Then I remember when growing up too, and we'll do something, I won't say, instead of shouting, you people will not kill me. I'll just be on my own. then she just pretend as if nothing is going on. And I realized that at the end of the day, like even the one that go back to meet her to apologize. So I feel instead of letting it like overwhelm, instead of like allowing the whole situation to overwhelm you, you talk to God about it. God can change hearts. I feel God is
Mm,
the answer to everything we are talking about here.
exactly.
Yeah, God is the answer to everything we are talking about. So talk to God about it. Talk to people around you that has also like that has also been in that position on what to do. They would also be of help. I feel that's how we can get out of the situation on time instead of keeping it to yourself and letting it weigh you down.
Yeah, thank you. So, Mora, can you hear
Okay, so
me? Okay.
yes, ma'am. So like Grace has said, I feel like when you involve God at the very beginning of motherhood, that goes a long way already.
Mm-hmm.
Then I feel like just having the mind to be prepared for whatever comes,
Mm-hmm.
that alone prepares you for everything. Like there's
Exactly.
this mindset that I used to keep in my heart that, you know, as much as I want everything to go well, things may not go well. So when things don't go well, I'm not so shocked or I'm not disappointed or I don't feel distressed or sad like I would in the past because I'm very emotional. So it's just a mindset that I built for myself that it's not always going to go as rosy as I think in all
Yes.
situations. So I think that mindset alone that anything can happen in your pregnancy, in your motherhood, with your child, you know, you can't even boast to say I can't have difficult children because it's not about what you say sometimes, as much as words also matter, but I mean life situations can just turn around and things can
Exactly.
just go well. So having the mindset that whatever comes, I'm ready to chest it, I'm ready to be prepared for it. You know, that also puts you on the edge and on a higher level. And I feel like in motherhood, you know, there will always be things that are new, you know, and I think one of the things that human beings struggle with is accepting newness, you know. So when things that come
Mm-hmm.
to us new are happening, we get overwhelmed by it because it's not something we are used to, you know. So having the understanding that there will be things that you will never understand and which is okay. You know, it doesn't make you a weak person as a mother. It doesn't make you less. It does not cancel all
Yeah.
the track record of being a good mother that you already have. It's just
Mm-hmm.
something that is new to you and something you are trying.
Don't know. We can't. I can't really hear you. Maybe it's your network. I don't know. Is it only me?
Yeah, I can't
No, it's
it's
breaking.
breaking. I
Yeah.
can't
I
hear
think
clearly
it's
too.
weather.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
It's breaking.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And she does. I don't think.
I don't think she knows.
Okay. Thank you, Mora. We can't even hear you anymore.
Am I
But that's
back
fine.
now?
So yes, you are back. It was really cracky. I think he wants to rain, so there's a lot.
Yeah,
The weather has
it's raining
changed.
here
All
already.
right. Okay, it's not raining here yet. So yeah, so the thing is in motherhood we experience sleepless nights.
Hmm.
Sometimes you lose your identity because I watched a video today. A woman wakes up by 5, start running up and down. 7 she has, the children are ready for school. Then she starts to do all the work that they left behind. Before you know it is 2 p.m. You're not doing anything for yourself. And that is where we have to understand that we have to grow spiritually through motherhood, because we need God's help, you know. And one thing is certain is that as a mother, we must understand that our relationship with God must be deepened during this season, not walking away from Him. Like I mentioned, how I was suicidal, that's an overwhelming moment for me. And I had to seek God's face. I needed Him right there. And I couldn't do it on my own. People around me could not really help me. I needed to help myself in order to come out of the way I was feeling. And all I needed to do was come out of my house. I'm not a TV person. Even if you put like 100 movies for me, I'm never really interested in even one. I except maybe I just see it and I say, oh, okay. So I've always been I just want to do my own thing. So coming out of the house, seeing people greet me, that made me feel better. And that was I never had that. It was overwhelming for me. So, but when I had my second set of children, it helped me because I was able to understand what would not trigger me to feel in a way that I did not want to feel. So, when we understand that we can surrender our control to God, when we understand that we can surrender our control to God, we will not really go through all these things that we're experiencing that are overwhelming, because we know that we're just giving it up to Him, and then we are going to sleep, because God will definitely help us, come out of those kind of situations. So this now brings me to scriptures that help us in this moment. Now moving to Helen, what are some scriptures that helped you during your moments? Um,
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Who
go
hear
ahead.
you?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can
can hear
hear
you.
you.
Okay. Will I say, like, motherhood is life itself. So the scripture is life itself. At every stage, the at every stage, just like life have different stages and we have different scriptures to match with it. The same way with motherhood. Just like I quoted before, I said the thought of the Lord. During my first teenage experience with my first daughter, that she now began to, okay, I want to write love letter, I want to do this, I want to do that. The scripture in Isaiah, that my children shall be taught of them, because I saw it from the part that I have done my part. So I didn't expect that. But at the same time, that was kind of foolishness for me not to expect it, because I should expect it. But it's for her to be able to tone it right. Somebody will say, God forbid that we will give birth to a child that the opposite sex will not admire or call. So ability to be able to manage, abi now, ability to be able to manage that phase was a very big issue. So I go back to God. James 1:5, give me the wisdom to be able to manage this phase. You don't make everything spiritual, as if they are not even on this earth. No, not at all. So James 1:5 is a major scripture for me at every level, at every stage of mothering, of every stage of upbringing in the children, because that is another thing that has helped me. My children call me God's secretary. Why do they call me God's secretary? Because I there's hardly anything that they do that I don't get to know. For me too, I wonder somehow, how do I get to know? But I get to know. So because they know that even if we have done it, mommy will get to know. It helped them pave their way. It helped them go the right direction. And initially, my second daughter was having issue with me being too spiritual. She even wrote a letter and said, "My mom is too spiritual. I don't like it. I want a Gen Z mommy." That's the letter she wrote to me. And I was like, okay, fine. So that's to tell me that I was going extreme. I needed a balance. So it was that James 1:5 that helped me balance. That everybody's okay now. They can talk. Everybody can, okay, mommy, this person said this. What do you think about it? This person's mommy said that you can go. I said, no, you cannot go. You are Levite. There are some things you cannot do. Not because you are not Gen Z, you are Gen Z, but then you are Gen Z in the Lord. So you have how will I put it? You have limits. Everything you can't do everything that your age mates are doing. And God help me, I'm able to give reasons why you cannot do it. Not that you can't do it, you can't do it. No, 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 no. Why can't I do it? We sit down, we look at it together. So James 1:5 is my major scriptures. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We need a Gen Z mommy. Would they call me Gen Z mommy during my time? Because me, I'm not Gen Z mommy. I like sitting in the house. I don't even like going anywhere. So, like you said, we need that balance, right? And I think what is so
Very
important, because
important.
guess what? We are going to do trusting God on the journey of fatherhood. Thank God that next month is Father's Day. So I don't know if we are going to have to help us bring your husband, because we need a father figure on this show, and we are going to do it. We don't just want to talk about motherhood and ignore fatherhood, because there are silent cries we don't hear from fathers, and because they carry some of the burdens that we never hear about, that we never know, because they just keep these things, whether they talk to God in prayer about it or they just talk to their friends. But sometimes even the mothers, the wives, the children, they never know some of these things fathers go through. And that's why God is leading us. And we are going to talk about trusting God on the journey of fatherhood by the grace of God. We're going to start searching for the guests from today. I'll speak with Madam Helen. I don't know if her husband will not mind, but she can always be on the call with him. If not, we'll look for someone else. But I'm saying that because we don't want to ignore the men, right? They are living examples of people we should learn from and know how God has helped them on the journey of fatherhood. So before we round up, we're about to round up. We just need to know, and we just need to conclude. And what I want to bring in is the power of the support system. Some of us do not know that. I read sociology and we say no man exists in isolation. A lot of people don't know that. As much as it's okay for you to be alone sometimes, it's not okay for you to be alone all the time. So people don't know. Being alone is good. You need your time alone, to pray, to meditate, think about yourself and your life, But being alone isn't God's command, because God said it is not good for man to be alone. And that was why he brought Eve the helpmate, right? And that's why he brought Jonathan too, to console David. It was terrible because David was going to replace Jonathan as the king. But you see, there's power in friendship, there's power in a support system. So let us never forget that God wants us to have a support system and community, just like we have. Okay. Sorry. Go. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. So, it's okay for us to have a community and the support system. I want to thank God for my family too, because, they were always checking on me during that season, offering to buy. They were buying things. When I also had the twins, it was a very, very tough season for me. They were bringing provisions, ensuring that I was eating well. In short, my mom, when I moved close to my mom, and you know what, she started bringing food to me every day, because that was the only way she could help me, because she saw that I was not able to cook myself. I was not able to do so many things. And then when she saw that I was strong enough, she now stopped bringing food to me. So there's, power of the support system. These are the things that I want to encourage every one of us. You know, there's nobody that will not have quarrels. What I mean by quarrels is that there are times we might quarrel with our family members. There are times we might not, we might have a misunderstanding. misunderstanding, like Grace said. But the truth is that God gave you your family for a reason. Never think
Yeah.
that you're a mistake in that family. Never think that your family shouldn't be your family. There was something my mom said one day. Say, well, if you anybody ever thinks that you are in the wrong family, just know that if me and your daddy do not meet, you will not exist. So that should give you an understanding of why you exist, right? Because two people came together. And that's why we should be grateful to God for that. Never ever think you are in the wrong place. Yeah, things might not go the way you are, but I want us to still know, as mothers and upcoming mothers, and future grandmothers and great grandmothers. My grandma died at 95, so she was able to see a lot of great grandchildren. You see, that is the joy of motherhood when there is progress. Imagine you cut off from your family. How are you going to enjoy all these things, right? Seeing, being a great grandma, and say, look at my great grand twins, great grandchildren. There's a face for everything. So we must never throw away the power of a support system. Our support system, our families, our friends, like I said, we are bound to have quarrels. We are bound to have misunderstandings. It's just normal in life, but it's not everybody that would cut off, right? Because we need our families, we need our siblings, we need our parents, right? And by the grace of God, God will help us be able to manage our misunderstandings. When we manage our misunderstandings, we are bound to know that the support system that we have, God has placed them there right for us, because I'm a witness to what the support system can do for you in your difficult times as a mother. Early phase of motherhood, whether you are transiting from a baby to a toddler, there is a phase at every point that you need support. So you can't tell me that you are going to stand alone. Even if you say, okay, I'm far away from my family members, you have a spouse that is also a support system. And we need these people. We need them in our lives, and we don't need to throw them away. So like I said, as we round up, we've talked about the fact that we are definitely we are going to do a session that will bring fathers to the show, either one or two. We don't even mind, but we need to bring men that can tell us, those things that we don't know, and why we need to appreciate them more. Because this Girlversation show obviously was bettered out of the last week's Mother's Day, and understanding the fact that a lot of people are confused. Women are going through this and that. Carrying the burden alone for single mothers is terrible. But the truth is that God is still with you. He said, even if the mother forgets her suckling baby, I will not forget you. That's how God is so mindful of us, even with all our sins and with everything that we think we have done. God doesn't throw us away. I was having a conversation with someone. I said, a woman dies a week after childbirth, a woman dies on the day of childbirth, but that baby still lives and becomes somebody, because God is in charge of the life. The mother is not in charge. But now that we are here and we are going to stay for our children till we celebrate them, even when they are 70 years old and when we are ready to depart. But the truth is that God is mindful of everyone, every child, every mother, every family, and He sees you. He knows your pain, He knows your stress, He knows your sorrows, He knows every single thing about you. Just like Helena said, there are phases that you go through and you wonder, how can I come out of this? But the truth is that God gives us wisdom. He said, if there's any one of you lack wisdom, ask of me. Ask of me. Just ask. Solomon was not asking for wealth and anything. And he said, give me. And God said, because you have asked for wisdom, you didn't ask me for riches. I will give you riches. Till today, nobody has been able to replace Solomon on the face of the earth. So this is a lesson for us, whether we're already mothers, like I said, whether we are forthcoming mothers, whether you are a single mom, no matter what you are, God is mindful of you, and He wants you to come to Him. There's no shame in the presence of God. Laying it all at His feet and letting Him know, yes, these are my worries. So how can we stay connected to God as mothers? Our guest, let her answer for us so that we can close the show. I know we started late, but we can just round up by 5 minutes past 5. Helen, can you hear me? Oh, I think she has frozen. Tips for staying connected to God daily. Okay, but Grace, can you hear me? Yes.
I can
Okay.
hear you. I can hear you perfectly well.
Okay. So tips for staying. I think she has frozen. tips for staying connected to God daily. It's very important for you to have a routine as a mother. I struggled when I had my first baby with a routine because I was overwhelmed, like I mentioned. But after I had my second children, I got more organized. I was even surprised at how I'm able to keep to my anything I'm set to do for the day. I achieve it, maybe one or two things, but I was able to. I even became faster in preparing. I have an appointment by 8, and by 7:30, everybody's dressed up, including the twins. It was surprising to me at first, but I saw that because I was able to keep to time, I never miss 4 a.m. Another thing is that my twin son, he never misses 4 a.m. And I'm like, what kind of child? Why are you always waking up by 4? So because of him, I got used to waking up early. By 4 o'clock, I've boiled water. I've done every single thing. So we must learn that we must to stay connected to God daily. We must have a routine, just like I explained. That routine, follow it. Follow your routine. Ensure that you are following your routine. And peradventure you even miss it, there's no problem. You can always have a specific time that you can still go back to God. Set that time. Is it 4:30? Is it 11 a.m.? You can even take a break from work. 30 minutes. Go and spend time praying. Spend time. Join a community, like we keep saying. If it's early morning prayers, people are doing NSPPD, that community to keep you in touch with God, where you share with a fellowship, even a house fellowship. I don't know the churches some of us attend. Ensure that you are there. And I don't know if there's any other person that would like. I don't know why Helen froze. I would have loved her to help us conclude. So, Mora, are you there? Grace, are you there? I see you're having someone who is that person disturbing Grace on this show? I've caught you.
I'm here.
Yeah, so Mora, so we're rounding up. So what are the words of encouragement we have? Remember, we're not talking about only married mothers. Whether you're a single mother, whether you're a widowed mother, whether you are you just a little
Okay.
maybe a young mother in terms of you got pregnant, it wasn't planned. You are still a mother. Nothing brings you short. Nobody should look down on you because God loves you and He adores you and He wants the best for you. All you need to do is listen to Him. So, yeah, I want us to conclude. So, Mora, yeah, if you are ready to speak so that Grace can round up. I feel so sad that we lost Helen's network. She hasn't picked up till now. Yeah, words of
Okay.
conclusion, please.
So I will just say that um, in our motherhood journey, we should always put in mind that we can't do it without God. So we shouldn't wait for the point where we are broken down before we now involve God. So to every step at every level, we should involve God, and we'll see how God will just help us and grant us strength and grace. That's my concluding.
Okay. Grace.
Okay, so like Mara said, I feel everything still boils down to trusting God, because like the topic of today, trusting God in the journey. God just has to be in every part of the journey when it's overwhelming, when it feels like there's no other place to go. It still boils down to going back to God and talking to Him.
All right. Helen says it's raining heavily. She's not able to join us. I've been trying to accept her back, but I don't know what to do. It's not working. If she can hear me, probably she should know that the network has. I'm also trying to add her back, but it's not working. I don't know. Oh no. It's not working. So okay, it says she's unable to join. Maybe I should remove her then. Uh, okay, no, I can't remove her because she will not be able to join back. All right, so thank you, ladies. Thank you, everyone who joined us. Irene, Olabisi, that girl VI, and every other person. Tanya, Chikezie, um, Uzuma, and Raquel, Mark, everyone who was able to join us for this Girlversation show. It was such, an intriguing and interesting session because I learned from Helen. I learned from everything that everyone here has said today. But what is so important for us to understand that let us learn to receive strength, inner peace, and trust from God. Because when we do this, it's faster for us to heal. It's faster for us to walk by with everything we feel like is challenging us without us. I know. Go and sit down. Go and sit down. I'm coming. So we are able to trust God for what the season we are current, whatever season we are in, for anything we're experiencing. But when we look at our problems, when we look away from the things that are happening to us, it's obvious. It will be obvious that there's no way. Close the door. It will be obvious that we are looking at ourselves. So we need to learn to trust God. The Bible tells us in Proverbs chapter 3, says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will bring all of what you are thinking to pass. If it's according to his will, according to Proverbs 19:21, he will bring it to pass. And I pray that the Lord will help each and every one of us in our journey to motherhood, journey on motherhood already, and journey after motherhood, by the grace of God, to his kingdom, in Jesus' name. Thank you all for joining. It was such a wonderful Girlversation show. Like I said, this is Wondiva Global Community, and Instagram Girlversation Live happens on Saturdays or during the weekend, obviously. Tune in, just follow us on follow our page right now. You can follow me, follow the page right now, and then you would get to see more information about the Girlversation shows. And if you would like to join this community of women who are changing lives and who are, we rest as a community, we stay as a community, we learn from each other, send a DM and someone would respond to you shortly. Please make sure you drop a like and make sure you follow us for more information about Wondiva Global Community. Thank you so much, Grace, to my co-host, and Maura for joining us today, and to our guests that we just lost because of the rain. This is just so funny because I'm just here in the rain and it seems like they even want to take the light. So I'm like, thank God we decided to do this show by 4 p.m. I don't know what made me think about it because I wanted to go for 5 and I said, no, 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 no. Let's just choose 4 o'clock. That was the leading of the Holy Spirit. Thank you so much, Grace, again, Amora, and our wonderful host, Helen. Let's get set for June, Father's Day 2025. Hopefully, we're able to get a father that will join us live on this show, talking about trusting God on the journey to fatherhood. Wish you all a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Sunday tomorrow in God's presence, and a wonderful end of May. By the grace of God, we are entering towards the end of May this coming week and above. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you. I remain Sophia, your host, Grace, Mora, and Helena, our guest. Take care and have a wonderful night's rest. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Sophia.
Bye.
Bye.